This is a review of the Soundpeats H3. Let's get into it. This is how it looks. Very nice design. All right, let's get into the review on sound quality. From 1 to 10, it gets a 10. All right. I do a lot of EQing. I use a whole lot of EQs. I would have let you know what my EQ is, but it might not help because I use, maybe 2 or 3 different EQs on the phone, so it wouldn't sound the same. But I'll let you know that these are flexible when it comes to tuning. And as far as the Soundpeats app, I've tried the new one and the older one. The new one, you're able to change the frequency band. You're also able to change the Q value, and it does sound good. However, the old Peats app, although it doesn't have, or although it doesn't have that, um, it actually sounds better when you tune the old Soundpeats app. It just says Peats, and it is very good, very, very good. When you tune the older app, you hear a huge difference. All right. So the sound quality, I'll give these a 10. Comparing these to the Opera O5s that I had, um, they do sound better, and I'm surprised. Although I would say that if you have the Opera O5s and you tune those a certain way, you might not miss a difference too much because those Opera O5s were serious. And so, all right, so I have these right here. As far as the noise canceling is concerned, from 1 to 10, that gets about, with the comply tips, I would say it would get about a good 9, maybe a 10 actually, with the phone comply tips. I would say from 9 to 10, so maybe a 9.5. The reason why I say that, because they sound really good. And unlike the Opera O5s, the noise canceling on this model right here, it is incredible. Incredible. I mean, it's definitely there. I wasn't planning on using ANC, and I still don't. I'm only going to use it when it's needed. But it does the job for sure. That with the passive noise canceling on these, from 1 to 10, I would give it up about a 8.5. The passive noise canceling on these with the comply tips. Now, you get a whole bunch of different replacements for the silicone tips. You have extra small, small, extra small. You have small. Then you have medium. Then you have large. Then you have extra large. For those with ears on them, I'm one of those guys, you can say. And this is the case right here. The case is light. It's lighter than the Opera O5 case. But this is the case right here. Nice design. Had no issues with anything breaking or anything like that. It doesn't seem like it will break. Uh, I use an old case to just throw this in there like this somewhat. Just pop it in there like this, just to keep it secure or what have you. But There's nothing wrong with the case at all. It's not flimsy. It's tight. As far as the cosmetics of it is concerned, it looks nice. It's serviceable, that's for sure. It looks nice. You can see through it when you pop them in there. And as far as the comply tips, they fit in there with the case. So there's room for the comply tips, which is definitely good. Room for the comply tips. Magnets, very good. All right. All right. Now let's get into the battery, and I will be rounding this out. I'll show you, before I get into the battery, let me show you what comes into, as far as the literature is concerned. You have these right here, instruction manuals, another user guide, and then you have this, very nice. For those who are into artwork, and these are stickers, so I'm assuming you can place this maybe on the case or anywhere that you like, your prerogative. And so let's get into the battery life. The battery life, let me tell you about the codecs I use. I've used them all. LDAC, I've used aptX, adaptive, and the regular aptX. I haven't used the lossless. I don't have the equipment right now to do so, but I might get a USB dongle to accomplish that. So I can have aptX lossless audio. But I did use the dongle, the BTD 600, and it does have aptX adaptive, and it does sound good on that. Very loud, very clear. Sounds very good. The LDAC, I use that with 48 kilohertz, 24 to 32 bits, 660 kilobytes per second for optimal connection. And I use that setting for optimal connection, period. And it sounds good. The battery, uh, when you use those codecs with ANC on a decent volume, you're going to get anywhere from, I would say, 3.8 hours to about 5.5 hours. That's if you're playing at a decent volume with ANC on with those codecs. Now, the codecs that I do use, SBC, HQ, or the high quality SBC, or AAC, you're able to stretch out the battery like that. And SBC HQ, if you use ADB commands and you have the wireless debugging access to use those ADB command codes on your Android phone, you're able to achieve a higher bit rate pool. And it sounds good. And I do use these a lot with ANC on. I only turn ANC on when I need it. I have other headphones that I use for, daily use, or, for the majority of the day or what have you. Even the ones stated in my previous video, those are ones that I do use most of the time for everyday things and stuff like that. I'm just using these for the when I really want to hear a song and all of the details. I use these. Don't get me wrong. The Beat Studio Plus, those do sound good as well. But you won't get the same detail as these. Although when you EQ, when you've been EQing things for a while, you practically can make anything sound good. So when you get your hands on triple drivers, you only make it sound even better than it is. And the hardware is excellent. So battery life SBC, no ANC on, or having ANC off. I will give that about battery time. I'm experiencing anywhere from, what is that, about 5.5 hours to 7 hours, maybe. I would say 4.5 to 6.5 because I do heavy EQing. Now, to be truthful with you, I haven't really used these with the battery giving me any issues, so to speak. It's been consistent. Now, the volume that I do have is at about maybe like 65 to 70%, although sometimes I do push it up to max to see what it can do, how far it can go. Sometimes I do step on the metal and or the pedal. And so the thing about it is that it does a reasonable job. The battery life isn't that bad, and you are going to enjoy the music. Now, granted, if you plan on listening to this 8 hours straight, that's not going to happen. Even if you have SBC and the ANC off, but it's a trade-off. When you hear the sound that's coming from this, and you realize some of the specs as far as the battery is concerned, how big the battery is, and things of that nature, you realize that it's definitely a good deal that you're having here, and the audio quality is very, very good. I definitely want to reiterate the Opera O5s. Huh, those things sound incredible, and you get 9 hours from that. You're not going to get a serviceable ANC, as I always kept the ANC off of those pairs, but I didn't need it. I had phone comply tips as well. I actually was using these with the Opera O5s, and you can use these with the Soundpeats H3 as well, just in case you don't want the earbud to go all the way in the ear. And yeah, I would say battery life, SBC or AAC, ANC off, 5.5 hours to about 6.5 hours. SBC, ANC on, I'm getting anywhere from 4 to about 5 hours. SBC, AAC with ANC on. Mind you, I'm doing some heavy EQing, okay? Power amp on top of neutron, on top of, or, the power amp equalizer on top of neutron, power amp equalizer on top of the regular power app, uh, power amp over AIMP, power amp over Anico. So, I'm doing some heavy EQing, and then I have the Dolby EQ on that standard that comes with this phone as well. So I'm doing some heavy EQing, some layering, and then you have the EQ on these bad boys. These are good. Should you get these for sound quality? Definitely. Definitely. When you want to hear something real, real good, definitely. 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 Okay? Trust me on that. Sounds good. All right. So I'm going to leave it like that. I do hope you have a good day. And again, have I left anything out? The case is a decent case. They do fast charge real good as well in terms of the battery. So if you're skeptical because of the battery, you put these in 10 minutes, it's good to go. It's good to go. That's for sure. Am I leaving anything out? I don't think so. We went to the important things: battery, sound quality. There are a whole bunch of reviews about this, and so I'm sure you can tap into one of these sources. And Hefe and a whole lot of other guys, man, have done some incredible. Those are the ones who made me make the final decision. Besides, what I read online in order to get these, and besides my experience with the Opera O5s. And again, those guys are the same guys that influenced me to actually get these and the Opera O5s. So I would like to leave it there. Again, Soundpeats H3 from 1 to 10 overall, ANC, sound quality, battery. I'm going to give this overall. If sound quality is my thing, so that's going to have a heavier number in that average that we're adding up and then dividing. So I will give it a 9.7. That's for sure. And I am also going to be waiting for those Aura Nebula Soundpeats 5 driver earbuds. There is no timestamp for it, so I will be waiting like everyone else is who is actually waiting for it. These are affordable. Goodness gracious, they sound good. They're durable. They look good, but the sound quality is amazing. I'll leave it like that. You take care, and you have a wonderful day.